everyone, so today I'm filming a video about sixth form kind of. If you want more videos like this, then please do let me know. I really want to film like more sixth form videos and educational videos from now on, if it helps you guys, so please do let me know if you want any more of those kind of things. And feel free to request anything down below. So I'm in year 13 and obviously I didn't actually have my A-levels, but I did do 2 years almost of biology, so that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. But I also did English Lit, and then I also did chemistry for year 12, and then I also did double business. So if you want any more videos on those subjects, then do let me know. But I got a few requests for a biology one because a lot of people want to know about it, I guess. So today we're going to be talking about that. So before we get into the video, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel if you end up enjoying this, then please do. So first of all, my exam board was OCR. OCR B, I think. The content is a bit different in different exam boards, so yeah, so yours might be a bit different, but overall the subject is still very similar. First thing I want to talk about is the difference between GCSE biology and A-level biology. So I actually really like GCSE biology. I thought it was pretty good, like it was interesting, and that's why I decided to do A-level biology. I also wanted to do something to do with biology as a career. Obviously now I have decided not to, but at the time I did want to do that. One thing that surprised me is that biology in GCSE was a lot simpler. Like at the time you don't think it is, but then when you do A-level biology, there's so many more topics, it's so much more in-depth, it's very, very difficult, which a lot of people might not get, but like I found it the most difficult out of all the subjects that I did. I don't know why, like obviously I'll get into that in this video, but a lot of the topics you do learn about in GCSE, but then in A-level you kind of learn like more about it and more in depth. I feel like GCSE biology was more breadth, so different topics but not that much in depth, but then in A-level you learn a lot more about each topic and a lot more complicated words that are harder to understand and more difficult concepts as well. There are a lot of similar words like glycolysis, glucose, gluconeogenesis, glycogen, glucagon, that kind of thing. Like it's really complicated and it's hard to kind of learn that, so in that way it is quite difficult because there's a lot of words. For me personally, I found it really interesting, but I found it difficult to remember the concepts, to remember all the words, all the information, because I just don't find that easy to remember. I don't know why, but yeah, so that's just me, but obviously you might be a bit different. There's a lot of people I know, they struggled with remembering all the concepts and the words and stuff like that, because obviously you need to know a lot of fact recall, but you also need to apply that to different situations, especially when you do past paper questions or in your exams. It's really difficult because you can know everything, but then if you struggle to apply it, then you wouldn't get the marks, and that's just one really difficult aspect of it. One other thing is the need to consolidate. You really need to take all the information you've learned and consolidate and put it into some kind of revision like method, like flashcards, posters, that kind of thing. It really helps because there's a lot of content and you just need to like put it into a smaller useful amounts, just in a way that you'll remember it, because you can't exactly remember a whole paragraph or loads of pages of notes. In that way it's a lot easier to remember, which is key because I found that particularly difficult. I really recommend making notes the same day that you learn, or like really recently, so like the day after, the same day as the lesson. If you wait a long time, then you won't really know what you're writing down, and you're just writing it down for the sake of it, and you're not actually like taking in the information. Because if I'm honest, it is a really difficult subject, and I struggled a lot more at biology than I did for all my other subjects, in a different way I guess, because every subject's a bit different, but it was just very draining to be in a biology lesson because you could not afford to not listen for a few minutes. You had to listen to everything, otherwise you would just like not learn that and you wouldn't get the mark in the test and that kind of thing. I really recommend to just ask your teachers if you don't understand in the lesson, put your hand up and that kind of thing, because I was really bad at that and I was shy and I didn't want to talk, which is bad because you should actually ask questions if you don't understand and everything, because it's your learning and you need to take charge of that. The teachers will teach you, but you need to be proactive and do extra things that will help you. So like in your free time, practice past paper questions. I found that a really useful way to revise, because that's what you're going to do at the end of the day. You're going to do the exam paper, and it's a lot different to memorizing a few words and knowing facts, because applying it is the way you're actually going to get the marks. Studying mark schemes are very useful because they require you to be very specific in the way you write words in the test. So if you're not specific enough and you have the right answer but you just didn't like say it in a specific way or add an extra word or whatever, then you wouldn't get the mark, which is frustrating because you could know everything but you just wouldn't get the mark because they require you to be extra specific. Like, it's crazy. So that's a really annoying part, because I feel like compared to other subjects, biology is a lot harder to get marks in. When you need a specific answer and you don't have it, that's when it gets difficult. So some exams I did get U's, I did get D's, and some exams I got B's and A's even. So it really depends. Studying the mark scheme really helps because then you know exactly what they're looking for, and it helps because using the textbooks, they have kind of like different ways of saying things. Is a little bit different, but in the mark scheme, that's exactly the exact phrase they're looking for example. So I found that extremely helpful. So the teachers I had, they were really good. I had two teachers. So one of my teachers I had for year 12 and year 13, but then I had one teacher in year 12 and a different teacher in year 13. So like, yeah, it was kind of weird, but basically I really like the teachers and they tried really hard to help me succeed. But obviously some things that they did I just wasn't really happy about. Obviously every teacher teaches in their own way. It's difficult to be like picky about it because you can't, and you just have to make the most of what you have. But for example, one of my teachers would always make us do pre-reading, which I found a waste of time. I mean, the concept is good, but basically the point was before the lesson on the specific topic, she would tell us to make notes on that topic before the lesson so we understand it. But the notes were supposed to be from the textbook, so all I would do would be copy the textbook pages, like just copy what's written in the textbook. And I didn't find that helpful because it was a waste of time. It took me a few hours every time I got it, and I would get that task a lot. So I didn't have enough time to actually do what I found helpful personally. I would have found it more helpful for them to be like, okay, so revise this, but do it in your own way and just show us you've done it. Because I don't find writing notes, just copying out the textbook, helpful at all. And she would ask us questions about the thing that we've learned as if we even had a lesson on it. Like, me writing down the notes from the lesson didn't really help me to understand it. So when she asked us questions about it, I didn't know. And then she's like, have you not done the pre-reading? Like, obviously I've done it, but I find a teacher teaching it to me first more helpful. And then when I write my notes, it will be a lot better for me to understand because I've already had that knowledge from the lesson, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe some people learn the other way around, but I learned like the opposite of what she was telling me to do. So let me know in the comments like how you would prefer that. But overall it wasn't bad. Like, I did have good teachers. They both marked papers pretty strictly, which is good in a way because it helps you prepare for how strict the marking system might be on the real exam. And if it's not, then it's good because that will give you like a higher mark in the exam, if that makes sense. Because if the exam board are going to be more lenient, then that means you'll get a higher mark. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, don't underestimate the difficulty of biology. A lot of people decide to choose it just so they can have a science or something a bit different. If they choose like other subjects, for example, non-sciencey like things like French or like art and that kind of thing, they just want to do something a bit more academic. But obviously it's a good subject and it's very interesting. I did find it interesting, although I did find it difficult, but only if you're willing to put the hard work in it, because I found it difficult and you need a lot of time. I spent the most time revising for biology than I did for any of my other subjects, which I think really reflects how much time you need to put in it and how hard it is. But overall, it was a good experience. So we did like practicals and stuff, and they were fun and really interesting actually. So yeah guys, that's basically the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. If you're going sixth form this year, then please do let me know and leave any requests down below for any videos that would help you guys. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please do subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!